So I raised two children who are not my biological children. I love them, care for them, support them, everything that I should do. And I never knew that things would turn out the way it is now. So don't mind my haircut. I swear to you, like, I tried to cut my hair and mess it up. I took my hair way back because my hairline, I have a small forehead. And I took back the hair too far. I can't even show the back because I have a patch in the back. Anyway, that's not what this story is about. So how did I end up with these kids? So, they were my husband at the time, niece and nephew. And their mom called and stated that they were getting evicted and they didn't have anywhere they didn't have any way to stay, and if could keep the kids for like 2 weeks. Anyways, that 2 weeks turns out that she said she wanted 3 months. 3 months came and passed. Here comes this kid with a dirt bike. I hope ain't no more of them because some days it's crazy. Anyways, 3 months passed. She didn't came back for them. So out of curiosity, I called. Not even curiosity. I want to know, like, hey, when are you coming to get your kids? Then she said, hey, Soph, I haven't found anywhere yet at Sophie, so could you give me a little more time for me to find somewhere? So I'm like, okay. Because my fear was to have the kids in foster care or child service take them or anything like that. So I was just trying to act as how I want somebody to act in case they were, my kids. Well, my relatives rather. So, and then it was the nice thing to do. So I did that and waited. This lady then came back. A year came by. She didn't came back for her kids. 2 years came. You're like, oh, I'm gonna get them. Then she started hide out, like she won't take any phone calls or nothing. When you see on the road, like she disappeared fast because she spot your car and disappear. So anyways, 3 years came, 4 years came, and the years just keep growing. Mind you, her son at the time was 3, and her daughter at the time was 7, about that. So anyways, I raised them, make sure they weren't short of anything, give them whatever they needed and wanted, and make sure they lacked nothing. And when I say to you, oh my gosh, like, I went out my way. Oh, these little sandflies, they bite. I made sure that these kids had everything that they needed and could ever wanted. And I'm telling you, like, I had to scroll up my windows because this little boy on his dirt bike, and okay, he's gone. I can't put it back down. So I took care of them and did the best that I could. She graduated, and I told her then that, okay, now you have to start gaining experience because that's how you learn. Because I was doing everything for them. When I said everything, So she started to do her little stuff and, get a little get work. And I would tell her to save. And I didn't want to take her money because at first I was taking half of it, but then I stopped doing that. And when I took the half of it, I got stuff for her, so it's not like I take it and do personal stuff for me. I would go and add money to it and buy her clothes, shoes, and stuff like that. And the money I took from her weren't nothing anyways. So eventually she got her own place, and then about 2 years later, no, maybe about 5 years later, her brother graduated, and I enrolled him in college because I asked him what did he want to do, if he wanted to go to a trade school, college, whatever. He said that he wanted to go to college, so I enrolled him in one of the best schools in Virginia, ODU, which is Old Dominion University, and it is known as a really good school here in Virginia. Well, got him all the things that he needed for his room. When I said I went shopping, make sure he had everything that he needed for his room, and drop off day when the parents go to the dorm, help move their kids in and stuff. It was fun. And then months later, only to get a phone call that he haven't been going to class. So I'm like, what you mean he haven't been going to class? Like, what's going on? He said he haven't been going to class. Mind you, he stays because the school ain't even far from home. But I wanted him to have that experience rather than being in the house. So that's why. So, he could meet people and all that. So anyways, I was like, I can't believe that he just dropped out of school, and then he think that he could stay in the dorm without going to school. Then I found out that not only did they suspended him, but he was also kicked out of the dorm. And I was like, what? So he was staying with some friends of his. And I was so disappointed. Like, I was so even angry. And I'm like, how? Like, why? So he did that. And, I was like, okay, cool. So we, then we after that, that's my neighbor across the street, he's so loud. But I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. What if I had literally spent my own money, and what if I had even signed him for FAFSA, because you do FAFSA and the parents have to sign for their children. And I was like, no, I'm not doing it. So I'm like, is it need to find out what other way it can go. Anyways, got the stuff filled out and whatever, and it worked. Because as you can see, he did a 10. But I'm so hurt that he didn't go to school. Then this boy gonna tell me that's not, let friends get into his head and tell him that, oh, he's a musician. I'm like, musician weird. Talk about he wanna start his own clothing company. Mind you, none of what he's saying is up his alley. I know what he's good at. When you have your kids, you know exactly what they're good at and what they're not good at. And that wasn't it. Anyways, he started to work at Taco Bell. I was so angry. I'm like, Taco Bell? No, I'm not putting down Taco Bell, but when you have your kids, you want the best for them. Yes, some people say it's a starting point, but in my book, so now he's not working there anymore. Now he's at Lowe's. And the way that I feel about it is not even disappointed. It's way past disappointed. But I'm like, you have to live and learn. And I hope that he learns sooner rather than later. Now his sister, she's doing well. She's actually working in a old folks home, senior home, and she's a CNA. So, okay, that's workable. You know, she's taking care of her bills. She have her own apartment. She have it for a few years now, and she's sustaining and everything. And now he's living with her because he ended up leaving the friend and go live with his sister. And I am so disappointed, and that words aren't enough to express my disappointment. And you know, when I was raising them, you couldn't even tell that they weren't my kids. Some people would probably say like, "Oh, they don't look like you because they look like their uncle." So I guess people would think that, you know, they are kids and whatever. They just look like their uncle, which people thought that was their dad. And but you would never, I never treated them any way, just loving and caring, like those kids were in need of nothing. And now it's crazy how they have grown up. I was diagnosed with cancer about 3.5 years now. And I didn't see any one of them at the hospital when I was there. When I was admitted there, I didn't see any one of them. According to them, well, one said she said she didn't know. He said that he didn't have any right to come to the hospital. Really? If y'all wanted to go to a party or some friend house, y'all know how to get there. So I just felt like it was just pure excuse, you know? And I was so hurt in more ways than one. And in the back of my head, in some way, I was thinking to myself, when they got older, that they would, I don't know if it's because I had it in my mind already, but I was like, these kids, they're gonna grow up, they're not gonna remember nothing that I did for them. They won't be grateful, they're gonna be ungrateful. And my phone died, so I had to start again. So yeah, so I thought to myself, wow, I never expected them. I never expected this outcome, you know. He reaches out, but she doesn't. And the reason being is, oh, I forgot that my goddaughter, the reason why she stays away is because my goddaughter mom passed away a few years ago. So as you know, as a godparent, it's your job to, you know, oversee your godchild. But I wanted her to move in, but she had somewhere to stay, so I didn't bother. But she really wanted to stay with me though. But because the tension was already high and the kids didn't want it, so I didn't, you know. But she's loving and caring, and anything, and I mean anything. Like, she's always there, willing to help, willing to go the extra miles, holidays, birthday, whatever, she's there. No, those kids, nothing, nothing. And it's not about the gifts, it's about the presence, like they're present. But they're never physically there, you know. And her thing is that she don't want my goddaughter around, and I cannot cut my goddaughter off, My goddaughter is also a part of my family, and I am not gonna cut her off just because she's uncomfortable. And it's because my goddaughter is doing things that she should do, but she feel as if, oh, my goddaughter is having competition with her, and that's far from the case. And I even asked them, I said, have I ever treated my goddaughter better than you guys, or vice versa? They said no. I said, I've never done anything like that. Then I could say, okay, you guys have a reason to act that way. Now, he doesn't really act that way, but she does. And she make it made known. I tried to make them become friends. He became cool with her, but she's not having it. So I told my goddaughter, because after a while she started act real mean, and I didn't even know that she had texted my goddaughter a mean message. So I was like, you know what? Don't message her. Just let her be. You tried to build a relationship with her, but she doesn't want the relationship. So just let her be. Hopefully, at some point, you guys can form some kind of relationship. But let's not force it or make matters any worse. So that's where that got left off. Last time I sit down and I had a heart-to-heart conversation with her, and it was a good conversation, but she's back at my goddaughter. And the crazy part about it is, one, my goddaughter doesn't live with me. I'm like, you guys live with me. Y'all have me all to yourselves, 90% of the time. So I don't understand. But yeah, so she doesn't keep in touch for that very reason. Now he will call and check in and stuff here and there. But that's about it. Now, do I feel hurt and disappointed? Absolutely. And somewhat confused, because I had invested so much of myself into raising them, and I made a sacrifice to put my needs aside of wanting my own kids to raise someone else's kids, and I don't know what it looked like to have kids in your 40s. I'm about to, press 40, and my friend had her son when she was 45, and that's not the age I was looking to have kids, but if it's God will, then so be it. But right now, that's not even on my agenda. And the reason why I made that conscious decision, because I know some people say, oh, you could still have kids. At that time, no, because it made more sense to me, because when you have kids, that's responsibility, not just emotional, but also financial and all the other stuff that comes with it. And they were participating with so much things in school. Like, for example, she was in ROTC. Her plan was to go into the military. She did exceptional in ROTC. Then she graduated school and decided that she didn't want to go in the military. He was in sports. He was in track and field. He was in football. He was in basketball. And you know how it is when your kids in all these activities, that also costs. And he didn't do any of those, So I'm like, okay, here we go. So What have I learned? One lesson that I have learned is that love and sacrifice don't guarantee the kindness, the kind of relationship you expect in return, because people are just going to be themselves, you know. So now my question is, has anyone else helped raise children who weren't biologically theirs? How did you navigate that expectation, gratitude, and family bond? How did it work for you? Like, because I'm telling you, like, there are times I used to be like, just why, you know? And I remember she called on me a few times too, because when things happen, she calls on me, right? And I always show up. So, of lately, I've been considering to cut them off permanently, because I just feel like I'm giving and I'm giving and I'm giving, and I feel like there's no gratitude, you know? So, but I'm still living, I'm still breathing, I'm recovering, and that's all I can say. So I just wanted to share my story. Y'all have a blessed evening. Bye.